What is going on, everyone? Welcome to episode 70 of the Foundation First Fitness Show with Bob Echo, and today I'm joined with a guest. I'm here in Toronto, and I know a lot of you don't really recognize the location we're at. We're using the entranceway of one of my buddy's houses, so it's actually a pretty nice setup. So we're trying to make benefit from this nice kind of lighting that's coming in here. So I'm not going to take any more time here. I'm going to let you introduce yourself, kind of giving everyone a little bit of rundown, your background and education, kind of go from there.
Yep. So I'm Pedro Malvar. I am in Toronto, and my background is mainly, I'm a kin major, went to U of T. Shout out to all my varsity blues out there. Did that kind of in the fitness industry. Strength and conditioning coach was the main focus. And now what I'm trying to do is actually be the bridge between strength and conditioning and what people need and what people see. So kind of helping coaches, allow them to coach so they can keep honing their craft and be that person who helps give them a platform so that they can kind of up their reach, right? So
interesting. How do you do that exactly? So who are you working with?
So worked with Lululemon mainly. So I was on the Queen Street community team, and the brand has a phenomenal reach, right? So
a little bit.
I don't know if anyone's been to the Queen Street location, but it's an experiential store, and they have a studio space upstairs, kind of a community space in the back. I
definitely saw the community space in the back. That was cool. I never saw the upstairs, but I saw the space in the back.
Yeah, it's beautiful. It's wood flooring and has pretty much everything's fully equipped with.
So they use that to bring in
so they actually
have speakers to kind of run workshops and stuff.
So I just came back from a workshop in the space on programming and queuing, and they bring in everyone. So they actually have weekly classes and a weekly schedule there. Really? So instructors from all over the city. So you'll get, I think we'll say there's 20 instructors in the city, varying from yoga, Pilates, fitness, and actually strength and conditioning coaches. They come in and they'll teach, or they have their class schedule, and that's one of the spaces that they teach out of. So it's actually a really cool concept, and Lululemon just opened up a store in Chicago, and it's a fully equipped gym, really cool space. And if anyone's in Chicago, go check it out. It's really cool. I haven't been there yet, but I can't wait to. Yeah, I can't wait to get down there.
A trip down one of these days.
Definitely, that sounds like a cool space.
Actually, I was planning on making a trip to Chicago at some point, so I'll definitely. Is it open?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's open, so I can actually see it.
Yeah, you can check it out.
Perfect.
Cool.
So I think one of the things that I really like, because we had already spoken about this, was your philosophy. Mm-hmm. I noticed it when we were talking. We were having a coffee a couple of weeks ago, and it was really breaking down the philosophy of, looking beyond just what we were doing as strength coaches. So I think maybe touch on a bit of that, because I know it's really interesting. I think a lot of people would like that.
I think we're talking about, I'm trying to remember this conversation here, but we're mainly talking about strength and conditioning and the basic principles from
principles. And we started venturing into talking about what it's like as what the person's thinking about. Like they're trying to get out of there. It's not like going beyond the basics of just like, hey, we're here working out. We're just strength and conditioning coaches working on sets, reps, and all this stuff.
Yes. That actually it's a big piece of my philosophy. And
I probably should have warned you that was what I was going to do, because I feel you're like, oh, this is going to be longer than 30 minutes.
I remember that. That's great. I'm glad that it's a big piece of my philosophy. So it's very easy to speak on.
Right.
And everything we do, it's very much that we focus on this, like whatever the sets, the reps, mm-hmm. whatever. And those things are, a minor piece of it all, right? The bigger pieces are like the mindset, the consistency, the just having people enjoy what they're doing and being in that space, and the presence pretty much is really what probably the best word to describe that. Mm-hmm. So being present in that time and kind of just understanding what they're doing and what they're doing in that moment. And that's a big deal. And I think we're slowly shifting towards that more and more. I still don't see it enough, and everyone's getting really dialed into the minutia, but that piece is all really
the numbers games instead of what's really going on behind the scenes, what we're not really noticing. Do you think that people are just not aware of it?
You know what? I think that's actually a big piece of it. And as coaches, like I can say the same thing. Me growing up, learning through everything, I get dialed into the minutia. I think that's a human thing.
I mean, because when we were talking, like I was heading down like this way, and you literally hairpinned the conversation the other way, and it caught me off guard because I was like, whoa, I never really thought of that, which is why I thought it was so interesting.
Yeah.
Because it's one thing to really talk about sets and reps, which is, you know, almost the, you know, the paper, the tangible stuff that we can see. You know, and I think like what you were saying, which is really interesting, is that, you know, a lot of people get lost when they come into the gyms. They go in, they try to get healthier, they try to get more fit, try to live a healthier lifestyle. And one of those components is that like mentality, how you feel when you're going into the gym. What's your mindset? Like you said, your presence when you're going into the gym. We think only about like, what are the results? Like, okay, I want to go from point A to point B. I want to lose 10 pounds. And the only way for me to do it is sets, reps, and all this stuff. Of
course. I mean, the tangibles make everything easier, right? Like when you have tangibles, sets, reps, you know what you have to do, what you have to accomplish. But everything, like it never works that linearly. So it's as easy as it is to get that all done. That is like, it just doesn't work like point A to point B. Like I wish it did, but realistically it's more like a wave in a roller coaster ride that you'll get in there and kind of experience, and then from there that's really how we get to point B. So it's always on focusing on the process and the actions and habits versus the actual outcomes, and I think that's a big deal.
What is one thing you would tell like someone listening out there? What do you think they should be thinking about when they're going to the gym?
That's actually a really good question. So when you go to the gym, enjoy yourself. Make sure you celebrate it. So the fact that you can be there and kind of are able to do that, that's I think a big win. And celebrate the fact that you are there. Celebrate the process that enables you to be there. So the more that we can see that as a win every time you show up, that will snowball. So, you know, I can't remember what strength coach had this, but they break down, if you work out 3 or 5 times a week, 3 to 5 times a week, we'll say, one workout is going to be you checking the box and you just getting it done. One workout is going to be like smooth sailing. You're going to go in, you're going to crush everything. And then there's going to be one workout that you go in and you don't even want to go in, first off, right? That's the one that actually is most important, where you don't want to go in, you go, and then you get it done. No matter what.
Negotiations.
Exactly. You get it done and you grow. That is how you grow, because it's easy to do it when everything's easy. But when it gets difficult, exactly. That's when you actually you get out of that zone. You grow. Right.
It's funny because I see that so often with so many people that I've worked with over the years, or clients that I've seen in the few gyms that I've worked at. You see them come in, they'll all start strong on Monday, Tuesday, and then all of a sudden by Wednesday the numbers have just like nosedive off the side of a cliff. It's insane that the thought process, like you're saying, is preparing yourself before you even get to the gym. Like your mindset has to be in check before you even kind of get close to the doors, because if you don't, you're guaranteed to almost like it's okay, I'll get it tomorrow. Type of thing.
And putting it off is like the biggest thing, right? So I mean, I'm guilty of that myself. Like I'm
putting it off for 3 days.
Right, exactly. Like we'll put it off. It's that much easier. We'll get to it tomorrow, and then you see that snowballs as well. So if you can just get it done, make it a habit to go in, get it done, that's really the big piece. So yeah, it's funny. Just a little side story on this is I just finished. I'm training for the marathon that's happening in a month.
Oh, and, that was the one I was telling you about.
Yeah, Scotia. Yeah, so I'm running the full. It'll be my first marathon.
Good for you.
Be cool.
Congratulations.
It's a cool experience, and running it's something else. If you don't run, you should try it. If you don't like it, it's cool. You know, if you haven't tried it, definitely give it a try. Right? But
guilty. I'm a sprinter. I've never been able to. Long distance for me is like scratching on my eyes. You tell me I'm gonna make you do 10 100s. I'm like, where do I sign up?
Doable, right? And I'm in the same boat, and that's why this has been such a cool experience and process. Is I'm learning a lot about myself that I don't think I would have had I not decided to do this and take on this journey. So
I think you're gonna sucker me into it.
Hey, I mean, it's one of those things, right? So I had a workout on Friday, and I procrastinated, put it off, and it got to a point where I had a timeline and I had some things to do, and I think I procrastinated for an hour. I sat there for an hour just waiting to do this, because it was a tough workout. It's even on a good day, it was one of those ones that you're like, oh, this one's gonna hurt. So I was really putting it off. I could feel myself super anxious, just shaking, like butterflies in the stomach. And it's been a while since I've felt that way over like a workout, but like I just was like, okay, knowing myself, knowing the way I prepare, it's a lot of self-talk, a lot of, okay, you can do this. This is just another run. Just what can you control? Can you put on your watch, put your shoes on, get outside, right? I even recorded myself before I left just to show like, oh, this is who you were. And once you're done running, you're going to forget who that person was, because it's just a matter of you going out and doing it. And it sucked. Don't get me wrong. The workout was tough, but post-workout, just a different person. And I'm grateful that I got it done. And it's just a matter of putting that structure on and doing what I can do and getting it done.
I like that. That was a good one. Doing what you can do.
Yeah.
I like that. I think so many people just like there's such a mountain to climb to just get to the gym, instead of just focusing on those little details and then just kind of piecing it all together one by one. I like that almost like an accountability type of thing. Like you're creating that accountability for yourself. What kind of stuff are you doing for clients? You still work with clients, right?
Yeah. Very.
What kind of stuff do you do to try to change that, kind of bring them into that perspective of being more mindful?
So one thing with that is the kind of balance of cueing. So really trying to have them dial into what they're feeling and being very aware of whatever they're doing.
The experience itself.
That experience, exactly. So whether it's a movement and kind of really making sure they feel where they should feel, but also just feel what they feel. Like be very honest and upfront with me about where you're feeling, right? Because that is the feedback that I need, so I can kind of help guide them in that way. That's like just a small scale piece of it. I think bigger scale is how do you feel today? And something I'm really looking into these days is heart rate variability, and like kind of getting objective measures for your stress and how you're doing. And you know, everyone says they feel good or they feel okay, but
what is good, what's okay?
Exactly.
It's hard to really like
so
qualitatively put that together.
And that's difficult. So HRV is probably one of the best measures to qualitate that,
right.
or qualify that, and that's something that I'd like to dig deeper into. Just knowing stress, like stress is probably the biggest thing, and it's the biggest thing,
especially for the average population who's getting into like stress is like huge.
Exactly, right? So knowing what can stress you, what stressors there are. So it could be something that is like, I can see someone, for example, just go with an example, is someone comes in and something's just different about them, and I ask them how they're doing, and they're like, oh, I'm okay, like same old day. And then you find out that there's a big presentation or there's something important to them that's coming up. Maybe it's a date, it can be something as simple as that. But that stresses them in a way that you might not, that actually takes from their physiological and their physical preparedness, right? So that's one of the things that you have to look for, and it's just being aware of who you're working with and their cues and what is not the same as what they're used to doing, right? What's not consistent. That's a big piece of it. So
wow, that's crazy. It's actually really, I think it's more like you said, it's almost understanding the person that you're working with and really trying to figure out what their usual habits are and kind of figuring that out. That's really interesting, because a lot of people are not, it's one thing that I've noticed over the last probably year or two, is almost trying to dial into myself to know like when I'm having an off day, and like be very aware of it, and aware of when I'm having a really good day and things are rolling, to know when to like put on like put the pedal down, and when to like literally pump the brakes and give myself like that little bit of cushion where it's like, all right, shit's going wrong. Probably shouldn't have said that. No swear. Oh, great. I broke my only rule for this show is don't swear. Broke it myself.
I didn't know what the rule was there.
I'm usually always giving everyone heck for it. All right, screw it. I'm giving everyone hell for it. So
yeah, we can bleep that out, right?
That's I'll figure that one out later. I'll try to. I'll mess with it a bit. That was good though. It's so crazy how like once you start understanding stress and how much of a factor it has, and then I think HRV is like a big way. For those of you who don't know what HRV is, it's just a way of tracking to see where you are in terms of recovery post workout, and where you are in terms of stress, how your body's handling recovery. You guys can definitely research on it. If anyone's interested, you can reach out to me and I'll throw some articles your way. But again, I'm not super knowledgeable about it, but I think you might probably would have a lot more to say on that. I
mean, I'm still trying to understand the importance, the significance of it in terms of the measures.
The measurement itself is already hard enough as it is.
Yes.
Because there's so many like gimmicks that are kind of like in and out of like whether it's really good or not. And you never really get a consistent answer. Actually, my buddy knows about it, so I'll try to I'll get some information on what they use. I'm gonna rapid fire a couple of questions at you. Okay, completely off of what we've been talking about. Favorite workout for yourself? What do you like doing?
Right now, it's if I'm in the gym, it's just some glutes, some core, some hip mobility, some T-spine rotation and extension.
Just a good strength coach, eh? You're just trying to be a good strength coach.
No, that's right now based on what I'm doing. I love running is like.
Oh yeah, well yeah. For running, you got no choice. But it must feel great though when it's like as a runner because you get so much relief from it.
So I guess right now that's present. If I could just pick one exercise, it would be deadlift. That's the be all end all for me.
Are you a good deadlifter?
I was a good deadlifter. It's really hard to see that my power's fading as I get into, as I become a better distance runner.
Yeah.
But I have pulled, there is a video, I have pulled 455 on a straight bar. And I think on that, I think I had 475 in the tank, but I have pulled 5 on a trap bar, which is, that's pretty badass. It was like, I think 2 or 3 times, I think it was close to 3 times body weight at the time.
Good for you.
Would I go back to that? I'd love to, but it takes a lot of time and wear and tear in your body, right? Yeah. So, I mean, I have years. It's a long-term game. So we'll see what happens.
That's pretty sick.
Yeah.
Well, you just answered my next question. It's going to be favorite exercise, but you got that already. Favorite type of cardio? Long distance or sprinting? I know it's a tough one now.
You know what? Sprinting for sure.
Really? Were you a 100 guy?
I was actually like a 200 to 400 guy. So never really a full specialist, but I played soccer. So that like middle distance sprint is my thing, but it was always first 10 steps. That was my favorite.
Like
that was my
right
expertise.
That's in your wheelhouse.
Yeah, that's my wheelhouse.
There you go.
First 10 steps.
Favorite cheat meal?
Ooh, you know what? I look at things like I pretty much eat whatever I want. Especially now that I run, that's a big deal.
You're like, I'll burn it off.
Yeah, so I mean that's the beauty of it. So my diet right now is terrible, but I'm just running. I need.
You just walked in here with a.
It was a great salad.
It was a great salad. A solid salad. I was like, what is he talking about? But that's why I thought of the question. I'm like, that would be a good question.
A good one. Right now I'm feeling some chicken wings, chicken wings. I love chicken and waffles. Anything. I love Italian food. That's probably my go-to. So pasta, some really good pasta. Oh man, I could list everything off. Like this is one of my favorite.
A list.
I'm a food guy, and if you're in Toronto's a food city. So it's a place.
We were talking about this before. It's one of the things I noticed that there's a lot of places right now where food's actually exploding here in terms of the quality of it.
Oh man.
And the creativity of it. I went to a barbecue place.
Which one?
Smoking Bones.
Smoking Bones, yeah. Smoking Bones is very good.
I've been there once. It was so good.
Yeah.
The food was unbelievable.
Yeah.
I was actually blown away by how good it was very authentic. It tasted very authentic. It was really good. It's hard to find a nice barbecue place in Montreal.
Toronto. There's like 5 here. That's why I was like Smoking Bones is one of X amount, right? Toronto is all the food.
I started noticing a lot, like on that Queen Street area that you were talking about, all the nice places there.
Oh yeah, there's Queen Street. Queen Street is my favorite street in the world. I mean, I'll explore some more streets at some point, but
that's
favorite street in the world right now. Just the best mesh of culture and city.
Nice spot. Yeah. I like it. I started really venturing around. The last time I came, I went around Liberty Village. I had the breakfast at this place called it's called School.
The School. I was gonna say it's probably the School in Liberty. Yeah.
That was good, man. It was a nice spot.
Long line, but yeah.
Actually, I literally walked in. I was like one of the only ones there.
Oh, that's
when
amazing.
I left, the place was packed, but it was on like a Thursday, like 10.
Okay,
so it made sense that there was no.
You can't brunch,
or it was like a Tuesday or something.
Yeah, you can't brunch on the weekend.
No, brunch on the weekend. I'm assuming that if it was packed on Tuesday at like 10 o'clock, I'm assuming weekends has got to be like a mess.
Right off. Yeah.
So. Oh yeah. There's no chance. Yeah, that's good, man. Honestly, listen, thanks for coming in. I know it was a little bit of a trek out here for you. Yeah. We're gonna definitely have to do this again. I'm sure probably gonna come with a little bit more. We'll probably dive a little bit deeper into the whole mentality stuff and talk a little bit more about HRV. I wanted to kind of get you on there, just kind of run some thoughts through, get some people thinking about some other things. Yeah. But if you guys have any questions for Pedro about this stuff, shoot me a message and I will definitely put you in contact with him. If you guys are in the Toronto area and want to check out some of his stuff, they can do that they could probably go to some of these workshops or runs or something like that.
Let me know. Put them in touch. My Instagram's at Pettywop. That's the
Pettywop. I'll throw that in the bottom. It's probably already in the bottom, but
let me know and connect. I'm more than willing to and more than happy to help. So
awesome, man.
cool.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Listen, for those of you out there listening to this, if you're driving, if you're having a good morning, hopefully you are having a good morning, get your workouts in and be a little bit more mindful today. Get those workouts in, but really start thinking about what you're doing and try to really enjoy that experience, because it is a really, really important and unique experience that you're putting yourself through each and every day you are at the gym. And until that next time, guys, keep building that foundation. Take care.